What some kind of a cinnamon.
Put down for a second.
Whoa!
Let me start off by saying that I love Instagram. And it's not just because my posts be doing numbers there lately.
Wow.
But because it's a genuinely unique platform similar to TikTok and YouTube, where it has its own ecosystem, its own algorithm, its own memes, its own trends, and its own identity. And I enjoy it. And there's a lot of people on Instagram I follow. There's a lot of funny comedians. There's a lot of funny posts. There's a lot of skits. And it's one of the few places where you can still see random memes and things that are Vine-like on the platform. And to be fair, it is extremely edgy. And lately, it's become a little too edgy. And in the past, I actually was going to make a video talking about how Instagram is basically the modern Modern Warfare 2 lobby, where it's a bunch of edgy kids being edgy, and a lot of it is funny. Some things are absolutely insane, some things are absolutely ridiculous, but recently, Instagram took it a little bit too far.
Breaking news! Many Instagram users have reported extreme content and violence on their For You page. Instagram officials have not yet commented on the matter, but are looking into it.
Over the past week leading up to February 26th, there was a silly meme going around talking about sliming your homeboys and basically going through and being diabolically a villain to essentially backstab and betray your friends, which, by the way, I'm surprised I did not see enough YNW Melly memes, because he's literally the definition of that. And it was funny, it was ridiculous, but as the days went on, it became more and more ridiculous. It became more and more edgy. It went from posting movies about violence to then posting memes about violence, and then rap scenarios or kind of like hood videos that were taken in the 90s that show people just fighting in the neighborhood. And then eventually on February 26th, it just became insane, where even I noticed the uptick in just violent posting was insane. Like, I'm literally looking at the app and I see people literally getting run over with a car. I see people getting beat up. Like, for a second, I'm thinking to myself, am I looking at 4chan right now, or is this Instagram? Like, what's going on here? It became ridiculous. And I think this is really a boiling point or a tipping point where so many people on Instagram have been so edgy for so long that it's actually tipped into the edgelord category. And this is a bad thing. The reason why it's a bad thing is for two reasons. Number one is that this eventually will lead to more moderation and the platform being stricter. Now, if you use Instagram, unironically, it's a fairly free place to express comments and ideas. As much as I like YouTube and TikTok is okay, kind of, it is very heavily censored. You're shadow banned for saying certain words. If you have an opinion about a geopolitical country, you will have that comment removed. Now, granted, Instagram also has a similar feature, but I've noticed it's more about what you say versus what you're saying. So if you say idiot, dummy, stupid, I've had posts removed in the past. I also had a post where I simply just said Americans with a coffee emoji get reported because some salty American was mad that I made fun of them for not liking football. That's hilarious. But the point is, there is a moderation in progress and in place, but it does allow for pretty strong opinions. And I think that's okay if the opinions are essentially there and is one in good faith if you're actually making an opinion, because sometimes you'll go on Instagram, you'll legitimately see people in the comment section saying that Europe has fallen because there is a group of Muslims having a barbecue at a local park. I'm not joking. I'm being serious. At the same time, you'll also see a ridiculous amount of racism that honestly, half of it could be funny, but then the other half, you start scratching your head and wondering, like, are people serious? Do people really think this way? Because you go to the comments and all of a sudden it becomes 53% of the population, 13% of people. It becomes a talking point that now springboards into legitimate lunacy. But again, because Instagram is fairly kind of ubiquitous in terms of pushing posts around, you usually have a good 50-50 split between people arguing in the comments, where it doesn't necessarily feel like it's ever becoming a ridiculous version of Twitter or a ridiculous version of Blue Sky where it's going one way or the other. It actually does seem fairly balanced, where people are arguing with each other and the opinions seem to be both there. But with that being said, the second reason why the Too Edgy posts are not good is because it's starting to become corny. It's starting to become ridiculous, because for a long time, the running joke on Instagram was literally the butt of the joke of 2024 and the past couple of months have been India.
I'm Indian. I'll never
never get a hot blonde girl because of my race.
Whoa, wait. Ma'am, no! No, 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 no! 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 You don't have to do that! Ma'am, you don't have to do that! You don't have to do that! Why did you redeem it?
People posted a couple of videos of Indian street merchants cutting meat with their toes. A couple of them were basically unironically creating pancakes with their armpits. And because of those few unfortunate examples, India had gotten a lot of hate on Instagram. But again, realize that it is fair because a lot of Indians were in the comments clapping back. And unfortunately, I think they picked the wrong approach because of them. Instead of them saying this isn't all of India, they just said at least our parents in India know their gender and they're not confused like Americans. And at least when our kids go to school, they can go to school and they're not harmed. So they just got salty and the comments just basically created an echo chamber of just ridiculousness. Now, half of this is funny and half of this is alarming because it's an exaggeration. It's hyperbole. Not every Indian person is like that. And the jokes are funny because it's hyperbolistic. But I've been seeing more and more posts where it is ridiculously just stupid, corny, and it has not been getting as many likes in the comment section. But the fact that they're even saying it shows that this run-on gag of being edgy has kind of run out of its place and became too edgy. I've seen posts where there was like a little Indian girl who was just a little cute kid, and you go to the comments and it's do not redeem, do not do this, this is terrible. And it's like, dude, you're literally going down this route of edginess to the point that you're corny and you're literally flipping it all on your head. This reminds me of back in the day when atheism was really popular on YouTube and people started making content, people started talking about it, and they started getting more and more edgy, more and more anti-religious to the point that they had a moment of euphoria where since that day, atheists are clowned for being milady and fedora losers because they got sucked up into their own hype. Same thing with Instagram and being edgy. Some posts are absolutely insane and I honestly, they get removed. Like I tried to find a video where, this is gonna sound crazy, follow me here, an AI generated video of George Floyd turning into a robot and then looking for some type of funding for the state of Israel. It's a ridiculous meme. It is insane and it's literally like a Picasso level of stupidity. And it's so hyperbolistic that in my head, I think like, is this really dangerous? Is this really propaganda? It literally is just insanity, but it ends up getting removed from Instagram. So it's kind of hard to say if people actually take that type of thing seriously and try to push it as some type of weird meme propaganda. Now, with all these things considered, all these things being said, I think Instagram is still a very good app. It's a very funny app. There's a lot of posts on there that I do enjoy and posters that I like to follow. But the user base for Instagram is going to ruin Instagram. If you're too edgy, if you're too vocal, just like the losers on 4chan who always had to take it to the umpteenth level and basically get overly moderated and get the government looking at you like you're a bunch of cesspool losers, you now get to a point, and by the way, I say 4chan, but really it's R9K. R9K is unironically a safe haven for incel losers to literally propagate, procreate, well, not procreate, but they come together. And they've been multiple times having issues from that board and boards like it, to the point that literally the government stepped in and said, yo, this is weird. This is a little too weird. So Instagram obviously is never going to let that happen. So they're either going to A, crack down on the posts, or B, start to limit it and let it be where only certain people can post if you have good karma, cringy things like you have on Reddit. So, I mean, if you like Instagram and if you like using it, you can be edgy, you can try to be hyperbolistic, but going over that boundary of literally posting people getting run over, people fighting, just having edgy shock content is only going to lead to stronger moderation and eventually just the site being ruined, either internally by the users or externally by administration.